The immigrants into the United States have been a major political standpoint. In the latest, the governor of Texas has started to send buses carrying migrants to New York City. The first bus arrived early on Friday, carrying nearly about 50 migrants. And our next report gets you the details.
Migrants from Central America congregated near Manhattan's main bus terminal after arriving from Texas. The state's Republican governor, Greg Abbott, on Friday said he had started to send buses carrying migrants to New York City in an effort to push responsibility for border crossers to Democratic mayors. Despite being on the road for 30-plus hours, on top of an already long journey, some told Reuters they were glad to be in New York.
Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua.
We arrived today from Texas, crossing Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, Mexico, and Texas. After 3 days in Texas, we were brought here. It's better in New York. There are more work opportunities. We've arrived. It's taken 31 days to get here on foot and asking for rides.
The arrival here has been very beautiful.
Volunteers on Friday helped migrants get to a nearby intake center so they could be processed for admission to homeless shelters.
It's a big city. They don't know anybody. Most of them don't have anybody to help. They don't know where to go, so we're taking them to shelters.
Abbott has sent more than 6,000 migrants to Washington, D.C. since April in a broader effort to combat illegal immigration and to put the onus on President Joe Biden for his more welcoming policies. In a Friday statement, Abbott called on New York City Mayor Eric Adams to find housing for the new arrivals, saying, quote, "I hope he follows through on his promise of welcoming all migrants with open arms so that our overrun and overwhelmed border towns can find relief." Adams' press secretary said Abbott was using, quote, "human beings as political pawns," calling it, quote, "a disgusting and an embarrassing stain on the state of Texas." But he said New York would continue to welcome asylum seekers with open arms while calling for federal resources for help. Adams' office has said some migrants who were recently sent from Texas to D.C. were making their way to New York City and already overwhelming its homeless shelter system.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.